Hey everyone, welcome to GodTube. This is Janna Bailey, and today I am with Beijing Caspian. We are going to be talking about her organization, It's Our Turn. So, around the world, millions of children are longing for love, safety, and hope. And today we are joined by Beijing, founder of It's Our Turn, which is a global humanitarian organization that focuses on orphan ministry, outreach ministry that's bringing compassion to children and communities in need. Beijing, I'm so excited to have you here today. Thanks for joining. And I'd love to start us off by just kind of sharing what inspired you to start It's Our Turn.
It started when I was 4, when I went on my first mission trip, and that's also when I became a Christian. And every year for over 20 years, I went on missions. And so this means that I am placed in some of the most poorest places in the world, serving young people because I served in Vacation Bible School, which were always the children and the young people. And over the years, from like as a like 6, 8, 10, 12-year old, I'm like, how is it possible that these children and young people have nothing? And
Mm.
I come back home to having everything. And so God started to like stir in my heart the concept of the haves and the have-nots. And that disturbed me. To me, I was as a child, I'm like, this is not okay.
Mm.
Something has to happen. So that was God just, that was the inner conversation that was happening. And around 8, obviously you're learning the Bible characters and the Bible heroes. And during Sunday school, my questioning was, this is what it means to be a Christian. Like, we have to change the world for Jesus, because that's what you're learning. Noah, Esther, David, they're all doing these grand things, right? For Jesus. And they were the ones that we were just learning as a child. So in my head, I was like, okay, like, that's what I have to do. That's what it means to be a Christian. And so at 10 years old, my mom called my sister and I in the room and she said, girls, if you can figure out God's will for your life, then you're living your best life ever. I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to live my best life ever. I don't really know what will means, but I'm going to pray for that anyway. So I just remember like forgetting to pray for shelter and food and all the stuff that you pray for as a child. And I just prayed for God, what is your will for my life? What is your will for my life? For 2 years straight. And then at 12, on October 27th, 2007, I heard the voice of the Lord for the very first time. And he said, Beijing, I want you to lead the youth. And I was like, I'm a youth. Like, are you talking to me? And so I bring my mom in the room. I was like, Mom, I just hear God's voice. He said, he wants me to lead the youth. Like, what do I do with that? Like, what does that mean? And so we're pacing in my bedroom and I was like, oh, why don't I start a nonprofit organization? Because I already had understanding as to what that meant because I've been doing missions to 8 years prior since I was 4, right? I'm 12 now. So I already have that as a concept. And so I was like, oh, like, why don't I start this? And so we're thinking about a name and she comes up with, after a while, It's Our Time. And I was like, no, it's our turn for young people now to take the banner and to take the baton to start making a difference. So that's how it started. That's how it started. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, and it's so cool because you don't often hear about organizations or businesses starting at such a young age. There's songs that talk about, like, Lord, give me your eyes to see your children. And I feel like that was what was given to you at such a young age. And then for you also to, have a parent who championed you in stewarding what God called you to do at such a young age is also a blessing. So that's awesome to see you just walk in that and embrace that. And I love seeing how it's carried through even into your adulthood. Like that is incredible. And I want to honor you for that. So,
Well,
what is
thank you.
one story from the ministry that you feel like you'll never forget?
The first thing, which is the most precious thing, is the new mission that the Lord has given us for the outreach ministry, because we have 2 ministries, outreach and orphanage, and it is called the Hope Tour. And the Hope Tour is a tour that we do in the marginalized high schools all around the world. So we've started the tour here in the Bahamas, my home, and during the Easter, before schools closed during Easter, the government gave us 5 days to visit the marginalized schools. And during those 5 days, we spread the gospel to each school, one school each day, my team and over 1,200 students gave their life to Christ during those
Wow.
5 days, and one,
1,200.
yeah, and one teacher. And like that whole process, what a moment. But there is a moment, there was day 3 when we were in an auditorium speaking to 800 students because it was junior school and senior school here in the Bahamas, our educational system. And right now, the Bahamas is going through just a lot of violence, just negative stuff, man. It's really changing the Bahamas as we know it, which is a lot of violence and suicide and just things that we're not known for. And so a dark, gloomy cloud is really, taking over the Bahamas. But that's why we do things like the Hope Tour. And so,
Mhm.
especially with our young males, just into gangs and shooting and whatnot. And so there was a moment as I was giving the altar call, okay, when I looked into the crowd and I saw 5 guys, young guys in senior high school, just holding each other and weeping
Mm.
and just like consoling each other because so they came to accept Christ. And so they're at the front and they're doing that. And I cried when I saw that because that is the opposite image that we are getting from our young males here in the Bahamas. And for me, that was like, look at Jesus. Jesus is present. Jesus is real. And these young males are showing us that like Jesus saves. Jesus
Yeah.
gives hope, And so, yeah. And so I'll mention that. And that gave me hope. And that gave my entire team hope. And, we've been sharing that story throughout national television stuff. And I believe that's giving the country hope that Jesus is the hope and that he's our focus, that he needs to be our focus for us to have a better Bahama land.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that gave me chills when you started talking about it. I mean, that's really powerful. I mean, and it's so cool to see the reminders. I mean, God has been doing this for, I mean, all of existence. He's been,
Yeah.
he's there with us in the fire. He's there with us in the
Yes.
dark times when things feel super oppressive and overwhelming. Like he finds
Yes.
ways to show us that he's there. I mean, and this is just another example of that. Even in the midst of that 1,200 students would come to know Christ. Like
Yeah.
that's incredible. I mean, God is clearly moving, and I mean, it's so awesome to see that, as a result of you saying yes to what God is wanting to do through this outreach ministry. How would you say that your faith has carried you through this journey so far?
It's everything. Like it's eating, breathing, drinking Jesus for the next step. I would not be this version of myself without constant crucifying my flesh um, to make it not a me show, not a Beijing show, but for every time I'm on a platform or on a stage, those people just see the light and they see Jesus. Because I know the enemy, especially for those who are being seen and stuff, he comes for our pride, right? And, and I'm not about to make that happen because too many have fell. And
Yeah.
so that's why I'm just constantly on my knees being like, Jesus, not me, you. This is all about you. So it has definitely humbled me.
I mean, that's a great answer. And yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate when we do see, people fall due to their pride and due to, being able to be in the spotlight and get on a stage. And I think that it is so important to, one, stay on guard that you're not invincible to the enemy's attacks just because you're in ministry. In fact, because you are in ministry, you're more susceptible, like
Tell
God
me
doesn't say
about
that
it.
it's, yeah, like God does not say that it's going to be easy to follow him. And in fact, it often can be harder, but he is with us and he does equip us and he does sustain us as long as we're
Yes.
staying connected to him.
It reminds me for the Hope Tour, I could have easily just be the one to speak and give the gospel. But knowing and having the foundation that this is not about me is I every day part of the program was having my team, four of them, coming up to share their stories. And so it's them sharing their stories, which really is the students mirroring themselves at their stories. And then I just come in with the good news.
Right.
So you that well, here's the good news because it could easily have just been a Beijing show, and I'm not about that because it's not about me. It's
Hmm.
about Jesus using all of our gifts and talents for his glory, you
Yeah,
know?
I love that. I mean, and there's so much power in testimonies. There's so much power in vulnerability of sharing, the darkest depths of where you've come from and where
Yes.
God has brought you out of and brought you through. I'm
Yes.
all about that. I love that. What is your favorite Bible verse? What Bible verse do you kind of find yourself coming back to or anchoring yourself on?
The one that I would say that has been lingering in me that I just keep meditating on for the last 3 years is the Psalms 139 one that says, Search me, O Lord, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me. I said anything too long because now I forgot. Anything in me that offends you. There it is. That offends you. And lead me along the path of everlasting life.
Mm.
That one just always it brings me into deeper intimacy with Christ and knowing that like there are some nasty stuff in here and I need to always allow Jesus in to clean me up.
And what would you say, like, what are some things that kind of anchor you in your routine, anchor you throughout your day as you're kind of going about all of the different things? You're not just doing ministry in this organization, but you also run a cafe. You will also, have other things, coaching, things like that going on. What do you feel like, are some important parts of your routine that just kind of keep you anchored in Christ?
I am a systems person and I am a routine person. If it comes off, then I feel off balance, like you said, because I have so much going on. So for me, it's definitely waking up early, starting my day before the world wakes up.
Hmm.
And I pray. So I spend time in prayer. That has not been easy because it's really early. I won't tell you what time that is, but it has been, and that's part of my healing. It has been transforming my life
Mm.
to to the fact of just understanding and and being aware of his presence throughout my day. Just that, because that's the number one thing that enemy wants us to forget, that he's not with us. And we're just, so that starting with prayer and then exercise, because I have such a like very productive life. I need the exercise to help not just with physical health, but my mental health, my
Hmm.
spiritual health, my emotional health. So exercise knocks all of that, and then I do Bible study and reading. So Bible study and just study. And then right after that, then I come in to work and I do some laptop work, serve, make coffee, whatever, or may have a meeting or speaking engagement, whatever. And then I go to bed really early, like around like 8:30, 9, the latest, because I have to wake up so early. But definitely, I'd say definitely just having quiet mornings and quiet evenings. That's of course if I don't have an event to go to. Da, da, da. My mornings, that is extremely sacred for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and just crucial. Got to get that morning time, morning prayer in. I
Yes.
totally get you and totally agree on the exercise point too. I'm like it's
Yeah.
more for often as I get older, I'm like my exercise is more important for my mental health than it is like honestly anything else. I'm like,
Yes.
yes, the physical stuff is great, but
Yes.
I want to get healthy up here more than
Yep.
anything. So I
Yep.
love that.
Yep. Now, when
And
I start to have children, boy, that's another. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do.
it'll change. It will
I
change for
know.
sure. But you find your own rhythm. You find ways to do it with kids, whether
Yeah.
it's through nap windows or after they go to bed or whatever, you figure it out. Well, thank you for sharing your heart and reminding us, just that God is alive and active and moving. Before we wrap up, for our listeners, I would love for you to share how can people get involved? How can they help? How can they support? What kind of things are you guys needing right now?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that. So, you can see everything that we have going on our Instagram and Facebook, which is IoT underscore, it's our turn. And right now we're in the process of getting land from the government so we can build our first orphanage here in the Bahamas. So if you feel led to donate to that, we need at least $500,000. We have $25,000 so far. You can go to our Instagram. We can say that you're interested, and we can share that information with you on how you can donate. If you feel led in us starting a IOT in your country because you have orphanages there. We do adopt orphanages and we train persons within your country on how to give mental health support and discipleship support to those orphanages. Or if your country needs an orphanage, then we build them as well. So on the orphanage side, that's how you can definitely help out. And then on the outreach side, feel free to like come to the Bahamas to join us in missions, spreading the gospel. So far, we've only gotten as far as Grenada and our family islands here in the Bahamas, but the plan is to go global. And we'd love for you to join the team. And if you feel that once you've looked on our Instagram page that we'd be a good fit for partnership or collaboration, we're all for that as well, because it's one kingdom that we're all building together. And the more, the merrier.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, that's so good. And it's so cool to hear too that you guys, you said adopt orphanages and help
Yes.
train other people. That's so important and awesome to hear too. So, all
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you so much, Beijing, for coming on today. So excited to just for all the things that God is doing in and through your ministry. Just praying that God continues to bless it and, keep it up. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, girl. Good to talk to you.